All right, well, let's just make this episode 1 of all 3 of us. So, whether this is the KyleCast or not, it's something. So, I'm Kyle, and we got
Dave.
And I'm Steve.
So, we had discussed the idea of a separate podcast called SelfHelp Yourself a while back, and it was exactly what it sounds like. Self-improvement, self-help, getting to the places that you want to in life. And we had discussed that, like, what, a year, 2 years ago now?
A while ago, yeah.
And how do you feel about that now?
I still would like to do it. I think it's more appropriate to do it now that everybody's got just their own thing going, It's more of a dynamic idea.
Yeah.
Just comedy.
Yeah. So let's run through, like, we all got our things, right? So why don't you start, like, what are your things? And we'll go around clockwise.
First of all, weapons.
Weapons?
It's a big part of everything.
You gotta be armed to the teeth. So, no, my things are comedy. I like comedy. I enjoy comedy. And Performing, yeah. Specifically performing. One thing that's on the back burner, but could be a possibility, is doing sketch comedy. So also performing, but not the stand-up variety. And then I'm going to be doing this certification test for being it's dumb, but it's like being a sommelier, but with cheese. So
You were born in America, though. You can't be African. All right, moving along. Steve, what do you got?
Sorry, Griffith class. So my main focus right now is just on making that work. And today I was trying to pump my stuff out to the stores, try to just get out there and make contacts with the people in the Austin area. So
Cool. Yeah, and my shit is obviously this right here, so that's why I kind of took this role where I'm asking you guys the questions, but it doesn't need to be like that. We can just make it a 3 thing, but I'm starting a podcast called the KyleCast. That's, probably where this is going to go in the first place anyway. And I got all my other shit, Wim Hof and all that. We can get into that too. But let's see, how do we do this? So let me ask it this way. What is self-improvement to you guys?
to me, self-improvement is just being happy, and being happier as we go along. People develop, and people have different interests, and you don't always have to be doing and working at the same exact one, for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, but just being content in what you're doing and always trying to stay busy, learn.
Mine's just focusing on myself and figuring out what's right for me and how to achieve happiness in just a daily format of just what do I need to do every day to get to where I want to be. So
Cool.
To make sure that I stay on task with what I need to do there.
You guys both kind of helped me remember what we were talking about all week. It's about self-esteem. So if your self-esteem is high, the rest of it falls into place. So a lot of self-improvement, like let's take, for example, a lot of people go with exercising and working out and trying to get their body in good shape. That's because they want high self-esteem. So that's one avenue to it. So I think this is all just different avenues to having a higher self-esteem. Because we were talking about, what's a cheat day? Well, a cheat meal. It doesn't feel bad if you like yourself. So it's all about liking yourself in the first place. So that's what this is. We want to like ourselves, right?
Yeah, like I deserve to have that meal, or I deserve to have that because you went out and you challenged myself a little bit more. You did something that's not a normal day for you. So like the comedy, the jiu-jitsu, like how good does it feel when those days are over and you can and you also meditated, ran, ate healthy, and focused on the things that we kind of know are what we need to do now.
And there you're talking about your own individual criteria. So everybody's got their own feelings of what they need to do. Mine's different from yours and different from Dave's. Mm-hmm. So Dave, we were talking about it in the car actually, that reminds me. I'm jealous of your criteria because you seem more balanced. Maybe you have a naturally higher self-esteem. I don't know what it is, but you don't seem to need to do as much to feel okay with eating Panda Express, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I today put in a day of work, a good honest day of work, and then came here and ran 4 miles that I did not expect to run at all, did the whole Wim Hof thing, and then, I treated myself with some Panda Express, but I didn't get an egg roll. Didn't get soda, and I feel good about that.
And you should. You should.
Those are the good choices in life.
Yeah. Yeah, so naturally, my criteria.
So it doesn't matter what day it is for you. Because when I do that on a Wednesday, that feels bad. Because it's like, in my mind, I want to make that day worth it. So if it's at the end of the week, whatever, I can say to myself, like, oh, that's Saturday. I can have an awesome Saturday. I can go to BD's. And
I think I know what that is, though. I just thought of it. It's because your criteria for success focuses more on your body, and so does mine. Where I don't think Dave ever had those body issues. He wasn't a fat kid growing up. We were both fat kids. We both got that body dysmorphia thing going on. So our criteria heavily involves diet and exercise, whereas Dave's probably doesn't.
Yeah, and I'm going to have body issues pretty soon.
Well, that's always a possibility. Not fun.
That is really true. I never felt that way. It's even now, like I joke about having I'm going to have body issues, and I think I will. But I still deep down, I just don't feel the need. I don't feel the urge to really push myself. The pushing of myself that I do is really to just feel better, physically and mentally.
How much would you pay for that?
Yeah, that's what we're trying to achieve. That's what I'm trying to achieve right now, is to get away from that.
I would pay a lot for that.
I wasn't necessarily like a fat kid, but I always thought of myself in a shitty light,
That's self-esteem.
Yeah, and then you actually start to hate certain months, and you actually hate at certain places, like the beach in the summer and stuff, and that's pretty crazy. And that's Dave saying just none of that.
None of it ever came into your head. Yeah.
We talked about T-shirts affecting you, certain wearing certain T-shirts and how they look and shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up because that is so interesting when you find out the insecurities that other people have that you don't share. Because we've all got our own, that are absolutely crazy, but they make sense to us. And sometimes you share them. Like me and you have some that are in common. But then when you hear somebody else, I can't even think of one right now, but certain people. Yeah, but fuck. An example here would be great.
Yeah, everybody's different. Everybody's totally.
But the seatbelt thing. Me and you have both shared this one where when you feel like you're fat and you get in the car and you put the seatbelt on and your belly comes out and touches the seatbelt.
You hit a bump and you're just like, shit, I'm already that bad already again.
But you probably don't even know what we're talking about right there, right? See, you've never.
This is part of my life where I'm like, all right, I gotta start working out when I get to that.
And that's a repetitive thought that you've had throughout the years of your life. That one thought has taken up minutes into hours of your life.
Yeah, and I'm now focusing on working out and focusing on not even caring. It actually the body thing goes away.
You try to get rid of it,
and that allows so much more space in the brain to actually think about other things. I'm not worried about I'm not worried about that. The fat jiggling around, so it's fuck it. I can worry about. And I don't even have to worry about anything now. There's.
Yeah,
that's one thing that's removed from the plate that allows mental space to free up.
Definitely. I'm starting to feel when don't.
Come on, I want to slap it with the knife.
I'm starting to feel.
Pull that look.
I'm starting to feel a little bit. Yeah, a teeny bit there. But when I feel that, I notice it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym more. I'm gonna play more basketball. But I don't think I would ever do anything like that, even if it was to benefit this, that I didn't enjoy. I just don't have the patience for it, I guess.
Okay.
That's why I don't do running. I hate running. It's boring. But basketball, I will play the shit out of basketball. I'll play basketball for hours by myself, just shooting around, and that's a good workout. But I just think of it more as it's a good use of 2 hours.
It's not a criteria for you. And again, I want to do a whole episode about this shit, body dysmorphia. Because it's extremely interesting, and I think it's very common. But anyway, you don't have that. So what you just did right there, you said, well, this is starting to... That's not what it is about. Because Steve and I can feel vastly different about ourselves just based on what we ate in one day. You can look in the mirror but look exactly the same objectively, but you see yourself differently with body dysmorphia. If you eat like shit and you feel bad about yourself, your self-esteem is low, and then you look in the mirror, you will literally see a different person with body dysmorphia. You actually see the negatives of yourself. And you don't see the positives. But then, if you have a crazy good week, you do comedy, you do jiu-jitsu, then it's different. You see yourself in a good light. And it's objectively, it's the same fucking thing.
What we mentioned.
It's the same fucking thing, but you actually look different.
I think a lot of people, I can't speak for everybody, but I think a lot of people have some form of that. But the people that, are diagnosed with body dysmorphia or self-diagnosed that condition, I think those are the people that are on the extreme end of that.
Yeah, it's a spectrum. It's all spectrums.
I think a lot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people experience a lot of these things: depression, body dysmorphia, whatever. But some people are just so far on this side, and other people are just in the middle.
So what causes that short? Like, because we're even talking about such a short amount of time, which was like Tuesday, I felt down, and then Wednesday and Thursday we're talking about like sitting in front of the mirror and being like damn, this is awesome. Like I feel good. Like we had just done a bunch of stuff. Like that's just such a short amount of time to have gotten over.
That's because we're very fragile right now. It sucks, but it's true. Like we shouldn't be that fragile. Like if you take like somebody with really high self-esteem is not going to have those fluctuations. But we're trying to move up, so if we can get ourselves there, it will stop happening. I think, hopefully. And you asked where does it come from? A lot of places. Your parents growing up, bullies, the media. You're trying to match up to this idea. It is individual. It's your idea, but the idea that you have comes from
So what's
media.
your specific... Are we allowed to ask that? Am I allowed to dive into that? What's your
Yeah,
specific
sure.
event do you think caused you to have that more...
Should I say a name?
It's up to you.
Some motherfucker on the bus who fucking teased me every fucking day. Oh, I want to say it so bad. I'll say it eventually. Fucking asshole. There's a few of them. There's a few of them. One was my cousin. I hate that guy too. But one of them in particular teased me every single day of my life. He would tell me, like, you're fat, you're ugly, you have a small dick. I thought I had a small dick when I actually don't have a small dick. It's statistically average.
I've seen it twice.
Today, man. I live with them, dude.
But no, seriously, how powerful is that? He told me I have a small dick, and I believed it because he was an authority figure. He was older than me, and he told me every single day. So it got ingrained in my
You
head.
also don't have any other reference, too, so you just hear that, you hear that.
Well, I use the internet, and I can measure. I measured it, and it.
Of course, we all do.
But the fact is, I knew it on some level, but because he told me, and that's what it is. He told me every single day that I was a piece of shit, so I believed it, and that's, that has lasting effects.
Yeah.
So for me, that was it.
Mine's nowhere as traumatic as that. I think it comes back to, mine goes back to, it's crazy. Mine goes back to, there's a picture of me with my dog, Casey, and it's just like, I'm a fucking kid now, I'm a child, and like I had my shirt off and I was like wrestling her on the ground in like an old house, and like for some reason that picture, when I look at it, like I feel like I have like these little chubby tits and shit. I just like, for some reason I got in my head about it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to be looked at as that, like I don't want to be, that's not who I want to be or whatever, and that just got in my head, and that's fucking
Isn't
weird.
that interesting? That it wasn't even an outside force. It was your own.
Well, you're conditioned to think that. Nobody, like, when clothes don't fit a certain way or something, and like...
Yeah, so it was the media fully for you.
Yeah.
Dave, can you relate to this at all?
Not the body dysmorphia thing.
No.
I mean,
This is the self-help thing,
Yeah,
right?
this is self-esteem in general. So what about
Yeah. I mean, there are things that I can relate to. The body dysmorphia thing, I don't think is one of them, but you just look at certain aspects of yourself and you start to question them. You start to be like, yeah, is this like...
I hated whole months. I hated fucking locations like the beach.
Ugh.
My whole childhood.
All right, so let me dial it back then, because here's the question, right? A lot of people hear self-help or self-improvement, and they hear a certain connotation, which is negative. It's like, why do you need that? So you are a person that I might expect to have that reaction, but you're interested in something like self-help or self-improvement. So why is that? If you don't have any of that, then why do you feel the need to improve?
Oh, I have certain things, absolutely. I think everybody does. I want to be more outgoing. I want to be more confident in myself, and that is where my interest, not solely, but some of my interest in comedy lies. I want to be able to stand up on the stage. I do want to be able to be like
have the confidence to work
that spotlight. Yeah. I want to be, I want to be the center of attention there, and I want to be myself, express myself, not try to hide anything, and then I want people to recognize. Yeah, I want people to recognize me for who I am. There.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
You also hit on something else there too. It's like what we're going for is more than what average people are going for. We're going for this high level of self-esteem where you can do that. Because, I said most people don't get self-improvement, but also most people don't get getting up on stage and doing comedy. Most people can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying to get to this level where we can do anything. I am anyway. I want to be able to do anything.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, you need self-improvement, I guess, for that, because you're not just going to be able to, nobody can just do that.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time, dude. Like, all that benefits, literally those benefits of, like, confidence and standing in front of people and talking and just all these things that we're pushing ourselves out of the boundaries, all that stuff just flows into everything else, too. It oozes into Griff class, the podcast, talking in front of you, feeling more confident, not caring what people are thinking, like all that stuff, like, where normally, like, 2 years ago I would care about having my shirt off in front of the pool while you're videoing or whatever.
So talk about that. How does that happen? Why does exercise have any relation to Griff class? Why are they connected like that?
Because it's just, I'm feeling good about the day. If I feel good about myself, it's so easy to not have to worry about myself. So that frees up more mental space to worry about Griff class. And, like,
so your self-esteem is constantly wavering.
My self-esteem is, even if it's, as long as if it's in check, like, I have more time and more worry to worry about, like, the things that I do want to improve on. That's what I'm trying to focus on myself right now.
I think everybody has a to-do list. Everybody has a massive to-do list, a lifelong list. And when you start checking things off, even on a daily basis, when you put that line through that one thing, it is so satisfying. And then it's just, you just go on to the next thing, and you go on to the next thing. And I totally understand that, I'll do, like, I did this run today, and then, even we didn't do comedy tonight. I didn't have a chance to do that. But even doing this will affect my morning tomorrow, and it'll make me motivated to look forward to Saturday when we're going to do another set. We're going to try to do a set. And you just, some people just coast off of
momentum,
checking those things off the list. Yeah.
Momentum.
Yeah.
Does it have to be like that, though? Because we've talked about this a lot. Here's my problem. My problem is that my criteria is so high. Like, for me, I need to meditate, exercise, do jujitsu, and, like, several other things.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Why do I need to do all of that? Can I dial that back to, like, why can't I feel good doing nothing?
I got a marathon on Sunday. Like, do I need to do fucking an ultra marathon to feel good? Like, after that? Like, at what point am I going to feel okay?
Are you going to feel good after that marathon?
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be enough for me? Is that going to... It's not. I mean, it's not. We already know it's not. Like,
there's a finish line in that marathon, but there's not a finish line in life. And there's no completion.
But seriously, though,
there's no completion.
Because
It
even
never
after
ends.
Jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
your mind still thinks. Even after all of those things that you did that day, you're still like, oh, I can do more. Like,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of better. I can still do.
It's that feeling of progress that you get addicted to, right? Because you see little increases. And even when you don't see the increases, you see the potential for increases.
Yeah, because we know that last week, like, how much was that of an increase? Like, how much of a boost how much did that allow you to see that whole light for a whole week or a whole week and a half or whatever? Like, wow, that's powerful. Even if I don't feel as strong as it is then, like, holy shit, to know that was only a week away.
Yeah.
And to think how far I thought it was away. Like, before you even showed up, like, that's pretty powerful, man.
Only 2 weeks ago now, 2.5 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks, because it was a Wednesday that I came in.
Yeah. Craziness.
Still going pretty hard, though.
Yogurt.
That's there now. That's part of the podcast. And I'm going to switch to your camera, and it's going to show you eating. Okay, so where else do you want to go? We got 10 minutes.
So what do you guys want to get out of this? Like, what do you want to work on? Yeah.
That's a good question. What's next?
Yeah. Like what do you guys want to get out of this? What is this called? Self-help?
Self-help yourself.
Self-help yourself. So, like,
I don't know.
What do you guys think of this as?
This podcast?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so can I go for...
Yeah.
So I feel like the KyleCast is like, that's all, like me, this is like, we just need some opportunity for us all to talk together. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this is. And we all
check
kind
up on
of,
ourselves. Make
we
sure
all have,
good.
we all have the self-help thing in common, so we can kind of do that.
We all want ourselves to succeed. Like, I don't feel like we're at the point now where nobody's like mad if anybody succeeds or like pushes each other down. Like, I think we all are here for. That's kind of what we're here for. Like, you go check up on ourselves, make sure we're good.
Yeah. So I guess that's what this is then. We'll check in every once in a while, whether it be a week or 2 weeks or a month, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, cool,
it's kind of like, it reminds me of Rogan, Duncan Trussell, and Chris Ryan do the shirt parade. They call it the shirt parade just because it's a funny name, but they do it every like once in a while, and that's just their own separate podcast. And it's cool because they have a certain chemistry. Uh-huh. And actually, Steve Lewis, thank you, Steve Lewis, he sent me a very nice message on Twitter. It said, you and Griff on a mic just make sense. Well, Dave is obviously part of that too. Like, the three fucking clowns from CHS.
Nice.
So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that a lot of the personalities these days have. You respect somebody like Joe Rogan a lot, and you find out that he's got friends from way back when, but we're from high school. The formative years. We grew up. That's something interesting we should say. We met each other. How old were we?
I played basketball with you, I think, before
we played basketball like elementary.
But that doesn't. We're talking about the formation of
the real years were what, like high school,
cross country,
freshman year, yeah.
Cross country. Were you guys friends before? Oh, yeah, you were.
Well, I just knew him in basketball, so we already kind of were friends from that. Like,
So
not good,
CBA and stuff.
Yeah.
You guys overlapped, and we overlapped, and then cross country brought it all together.
Yeah, it brought us together, and then obviously we were all.
I'm trying to remember like when we really first started hanging out. I think it was cross country, but
my mom gave you rides. Remember, she would take
probably like picking on Meridian. Probably bonded us together.
Yeah.
That's there now too.
There you go.
Hey, he did his fair share of picking
Yeah, that's part of it.
But yeah, I think all those kind of cross country Vermont trips, Thetfords and stuff. All that stuff totally brought us.
So we got a lot of history and
all those miles together.
Yeah,
dude.
a lot of
miles.
A lot of miles.
Thousands of miles together.
Probably like a couple hundred for
not
me.
For you, Dave, but
that's something interesting about running in general, isn't it? Or like, I guess all sports teams have that. They have this camaraderie because they work out every day together. And when you're doing that, like, small talk falls out of the equation. Like, if I start talking about the weather, it's like,
we're being real.
Shut up.
On mile 9, you're real. You're not talking about
Yeah,
weather.
if somebody gets a new girlfriend, that's fodder for a bunch of conversations.
Yeah.
Like, life events are huge. You get to really know people when you run with them. And,
who's dating who?
Yeah.
Who wants to fuck who?
Yep.
Yeah. Small talk, though, is just, it's garbage. Like, man, like, have you felt this? Like, when you become an adult and you start breaking away from those sort of, I don't know, like the situations that you're forced to be into, you're always going to have work, whatever. But like when you're not in high school, you're not in college, you just start to meet people and just act differently, like.
Dude, I think you were in the shower, but we were watching Tom Segura, Mostly Stories, and he was talking about that exact same thing. He's like, I'm a guy who talks about the weather now, and I hate myself. He's like, I got into the cab, and he was in Seattle. He's like, it rains a lot here. And part of him knows how stupid it is, but you have to. Like, it's just part of life. Like, it's the way to. I guess when you meet a new person, small talk is your feeling out.
You're like nervous, yeah. So
you get to find out who's a psycho or not. It's like because a psycho just goes but like a normal person will be like, how's the weather, and then you can break into other stuff if you want to.
That's true. It is really a feeling that sort of thing. Yeah, because you're not going to just start talking about really deep stuff.
And how weird would you be if you're like, I like cheese. Like, what the fuck? Why are you releasing this information to me?
So small talk is to humans as sniffing each other's asses is to dogs.
Yeah.
It's being real.
No, it's not being real.
Oh, never mind.
I think you're just fixated on sniffing asses.
But that's as real as it gets right there.